This next one I'm going to let you do. It's a way with a whole bunch of clown exercises. I'm going to just open it up so you can see it. You're seeing it now, right? Yes? Stephanie Resnick, she teaches clown and does, there's a clowning adventure workshop video link that goes to a workshop that she actually sent where she kind of employs some of these games. So that's what that is. I'm not even going to show that to you, but it's all Zoom. And then she has clown warm-ups, open like a flower, happy body, moving with sound, speed of fun. Hey, what's that? Hey, what's that? It's really, really good. And then they create a 60-second song. It's a really, really fun introduction to the specificity of clowning. So that's what that exercise is. Shoo, jump over to the other side. So these are 5 lessons that deal with Hamlet. And they are much more language-based rather than theater-based. So this is for your English classes. This is, Megan, I'm thinking of you primarily, okay? There are sides for Hamlet here. I hope you're okay with me plotting through this.
Yeah.
Look to see how others define Hamlet by what they see and what they feel about him. So there are a number of scenes that have been cut that talk about how other people feel about Hamlet. It's literally an English class ready to go. When Hamlet is surrounded by friends, he reveals a different character than we see with Claudius. They appear to be more open with each other. He defines who we are. Basically, the way other people talk about him and the way other people talk about him here. I don't know if you'd know how to use, but that's what the tool is. Shakespeare scenes with questions at the top of it, so you can just give it to them and go from there. Introduction on Hamlet. Give each group a poster paper and markers and ask the major dramatic question: who and what is Hamlet? So what do you know about Hamlet? They do descriptions of Hamlets, etc. Textual analysis, they then jump script sides, and there's different questions that they ask about him. What's the first question asked of Hamlet? You know, how is it the clouds still hang on you? So the answers are here in addition to the other side. Soliloquy. Point out that after Gruchin and Claudius leave, Hamlet's alone and he can speak honestly. This is also in the text. Okay, notice his heightened language, his longer metaphors, the blank and unrhymed verse, and then you have the assessment. And then there is a video here. There's 2 videos. I'm going to click on the listening guide first. This listening guide goes in the order of the video, and the answers, don't just print it off and give it to them because the answers are right there, right? So you don't have to watch the video and make your own test for that. That test is made. And then this is one of the things that I said you need, quote, permission to watch, but you can find it right here. So everything that's buried in that other thing is found right here. So this is just a video that's 15 minutes in length that talks about Hamlet. There's a discussion between Betsy McGavro. Emily loves Betsy. She's a great actress. Here's actor. He talks about other actors. Anyway, it's a really, really great overview, and you can kind of watch that too. I'm not sure if you teach Hamlet or not. Do you guys teach Hamlet, Megan?
I usually do with my theater kids, but I don't have 12th grade anymore. I did with my 12th graders though. So I never know from year to year. The only thing I know right now that I will teach is theater, but I never know from year to year which English I will have. It's usually 10th or 12th grade, but occasionally they've thrown in 11th grade. And the only one I haven't done is I did 9th grade when I did my student teaching, but I've never actually taught 9th grade during my real teaching career. So,
but I wish we had these for, I'll tell you why we have all this. We can thank COVID for all of this, because we knew we couldn't get in person. And so we started creating this, and I went, wow, we should have been doing this the whole time. Why haven't we done this with all of this stuff? Anyway, so I'm going to plow, again, very, very quickly through these. Here is a relationship web handout. So the focus of this workshop is the connections. So you see how each of the characters are connected so that they can figure out the relationships between each of them. The objective of this one is their analysis ability by debating how Hamlet's circumstances drive his actions. There again, there's a character arc. There's some independent study that we come through here. There's lower classes and open class. There's a debate activity, divide the class in half. Each member of the class needs to argue this statement. Hamlet is descending into madness. I don't think Hamlet's mad. One half disagrees, one does agreement. There again, we've got the approaching Hamlet there too. I'm plowing very, very quickly through these. Relationships and honesty in Hamlet. Talks about, is he being honest? There are video clips between Hamlet, and these I'm super proud of. These are from the actual show. Again, and at this point, only 13 people have viewed them. I
like the snow everywhere.
Isn't that lovely? Yeah, good noticing. And yeah, some people said, how come it's inside? It was set in Russia. Okay, so this has to be or not to be in it. After to be or not to be, we end up seeing this relationship. I wish we could have recorded the whole show. It was a really good. Well, that's nice. That's a kiss. Now, as you know, and this is what I say, they're hiding in the back room. Polonius and Claudius are watching all of this. So he's doing this performance. He's breaking her heart because he knows they're in the back room.
Got the color symbolism with their costumes going.
Oh, look at you. Look at you go. Absolutely.
Are you honest, my lord? Are you fair? What means you are honest? That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your view.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Why? Truly. The power of beauty will sooner transform honesty from what it is.
Good. And I'm gonna leave, and then we have this one, and I can't believe we have this one. So Emily, share this with as many people as you like. As long as they find it to the back door, I am just fine.
What's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, you answer.
Now here's what's cool. Quinn Matfeld is a very popular actor out here. He's acted on the stages for a long time. He's seen as a bit of a clown, as a bit of a comic performer. I don't look at him as a clown. I look at him as a really great actor who knows how to mine every bit of his lines for that. And so people say, wow, I've never laughed in Hamlet. I've never had, he said, oh, are you kidding me? It's there, man. His speech, it's so good. I don't think I have it in any of these. I think you're going to have to request this one. But the Alas, Poor Yorick, I knew him well. Just a really, really kind of beautiful scene here. Anyway, I'm not going to have time for all of this one, too. You do.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
No, Hamlet.
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No! By the root, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. And would it were not so, you are my mother. Come and sit you down. You shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
I love hearing that audience too. And there again, man, there's no blood. You don't see anything there. I mean, that person's dead in the eye. Whoa, well, yeah.
A bloody deed. Almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother. Aye, lady. It was my word.
Oh, crap. Wrong guy.
A wretched, rash, intruding fool.
And what I love about this version is you read those words on the page and it's great, or you see that, but all that stuff about, I mean, the communication here is just really, really great. And it works really nicely with this lesson plan that I talked about, relationships.
Sit you down and let me wring your heart, For so I shall if it be made of penetrable stuff.
What have I done? That thou darest wag thy tongue and voice so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as dicers.
Lady, what that? That were so loud that thunders in the index.
Look here, upon this picture and on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow, Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars to threaten and command. A combination and a form indeed where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you, on this fair mountain, leave to feed and fatten on this moor? Huh? Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday in the blood is tame, it's humble, and it waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? What devil was it then that thus accustomed you and hoodman blind? Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight. Oh shame! Where is thy blush?
Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turnest my very eyes into my soul, and there I see such black and grated spots as will leave thy bed chambers.
To live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty.
Speak to me no more. His words like daggers enter in my ears no more. Sweet Hamlet.
A murderer. And the villain, a slave that is not.
That's a play. That's a play written by Shakespeare. Isn't it great? Yeah.
Wow.
So you got the rest of those too. It's a really beautiful piece. So again, the goal here, after you get them in place, is have them look and watch the Hamlet scene and the Hamlet Gertrude scene. And then subtext is not written on the page, but presented through clues in the text. And they search the clues with the text, looking at those scenes there too. You've got the approaching Hamlet as well. I've got just enough time. Students will analyze rogue and peasant slave. We have a video clip of rogue and peasant slave. We have the Hamlet and Claudius clip. We have the to be clip, and then we've got the Hamlet sides that are in there as well. And I just would love for them to be used. We finally got permission to use these video clips. And so when they made the approaching Hamlet for this video, there are segments of his scene in there. And then the rest is silence. This one right here, and I love this lesson. There are many, many sections of the clips in this approaching Hamlet 5. So if you don't want to show,
Set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
sorry. So approaching Hamlet 5 goes the same through a discussion format. Oh my heavens! Screaming. Anyway, so it's got segments of the videos through that too as well. So I just want you to know about that. There are some other really wonderful activities through these character brown bag, character profile, time capsule, just some real basically we just got tons of Hamlet stuff that we want you to do. And the last thing I'm going to close with, going a little over time past my 15 minutes, is defining what tragedy is, okay? Explore the definition of tragedy. The Greeks believed that tragedy was not simply bad things happening to a person, being in a car accident, but a bad conclusion for a good and moral person as a result of prideful actions of a weak character trait, okay? So that's one definition. Number two, tragedy is a story in which characters suffer as the world is brought back to order. The characters in the way of the world righting itself. In this definition, the main character is more reactive than active, and the world is rewritten. And then another definition is the pain that comes to characters as they destroy the order of the world, okay? So what type of tragedy is Hamlet? Is it prideful actions? Is the world back to balance? Or is it a character who destroys the order of the world? What type of character is it? Or a tragedy of that? Or is it all three of them? Are all three in action with that? But that really, really great demonstration talking about the way different tragedies are defined is that thing.
Megan, do you have your hand up?
Oh, I just earlier you had talked about, but I didn't want to interrupt. But you had that character web. I really like that, and I was just gonna let you know, like, some things I've done similar with that. I think I did it with the Crucible, but ways to kind of, depending on your level of class or time, ways they could extend that or challenge that would be like they could have it where they're cutouts and they have to glue them in the right spaces. Like we're all about manipulating, and that engagement on another level. Or you could white it out and the kids have to write the descriptions from either a word bank or just their own reading to kind of show their understanding. So there would be ways that maybe, I don't know if you want to add those on there as extensions. But
what I love about that is they're doing it on their own. In other words, they're making the web better than just showing them a web. So it's either a cutout puzzle that they piece together, or you blank the names out and they have to fill in who those people are, right? Yeah.
Like you could do it either way. I really like the cutout thing. I've done that before. And they work with a partner and kind of say, well, this person was this. I remember this about them. So they would go here. And for those more tactile learners, that's usually very engaging for them. And to just, I don't know, just the gluing it down and being able to color it and make it their own. Those might be useful things. I know that's not what was. It's just building off of what was there, but I just thought I'd put that out there.
No, I love that. And again, any time that, as you said, tactile learners, any time that they can make the learning their own, the better. I forget which one it's in. There's an exercise in there that I really, really love. You line the whole class up as in an alley, and you have a character walk down through the alley, and they yell things at the character as they walk down through that. Basically voices as they walk through. It's a fun acting exercise to do anyway. I forget the name of it, and I forget which one it's in. It might be in one of that last ones. It's
you can do that with the Crucible as well. Like townspeople saying things about them.
I have to tell you, Crucible is my favorite play. I mean, well, I can't count Shakespeare.
Not Shakespeare. I really love the Crucible. I always do that one with my 10th.
Oh, dude,
very Shakespearean in nature, and the idea of the good things about him bring about his downfall. So I guess it would relate.
I mentioned John Proctor earlier here too. Were you in the room when I mentioned John Proctor? I love John Proctor. Man, he's he slept with a character. Yeah, he checked teenage girl, and he shouldn't have done that. But It Is My Name. Oh, just the most glorious stuff. Do your kids like it? Do they kids enjoy it?
Yes. My inclusion classes love the Crucible.
Will you tell me what an inclusion class is? Because I know.
An inclusion class is where you have a certain, usually like 6 or more students who have learning disabilities. They have IEPs. They have specific accommodations that you have to make. And so you might have to go at a slower pace. You might have to differentiate a little bit.
Do they know it? Do you call it an inclusion class, or is that just among teachers?
Among teachers, we don't usually. Now, I might sometimes have a teacher's aide with me, depending on how many students I have who, like I'm in one class where the students, it's technically called like life skills English. There's students that are not on a standard diploma, but they do need communication skills to go into the workforce. And I have a co-teacher in there, and I have about 10 kids. And then I have other classes where I maybe only have 6 kids that have an IEP. And I'm by myself with them, and I just differentiate and communicate with their what do they call it? Their case manager. But they usually get really into Shakespeare, and people like to assume that just because Shakespeare is perceived a certain way, that those kids will not get that Shakespeare is all about humanity. There's this wonderful book, Shakespeare, The Invention of the Human, I think. And
right there on myself, man. Harold Bloom, man.
Is that what Harold Bloom?
It's Harold Bloom.
I cannot stand that book.
Yeah. It's a love-hate relationship with that book. But there are things where I think he hits it he pontificates, and he's quite, this is how it is.
But
But
the
there's,
concept that
I get fired
Shakespeare
up sometimes.
really kind of has these characters that may seem one-dimensional, but
Yeah.
they're really much more complex, and that a lot of the conflicts that are in Shakespeare's plays are still going on today. And I like to tell them a story about when I was in high school. There was a situation, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but there was actually a situation where a 16-year-old was killed by an 18-year-old over a girl, and it was the whole community mourned it, even though so and so was messing around with so and so, and it was just, even though it was Wellborn, Alabama, and it was the most redneck drama you could have imagined that was going. I mean, he literally took a shotgun to this kid's house in a deer rifle. I mean, but it was just the idea that life imitates art and art imitates life, and so kids, doesn't matter what intellectual level they are. Like, if you can get to the human essence of conflict, they love it. They get into it.
But I want to make sure that I get a chance to share this last thing with you. And this is for, in all honesty, Jason said, he goes, do you have any really cool stuff for rhetoric? And the minute he said that, I said, oh, he's been working with ASC, because a lot of their, so it's not an apology, it's I love ASC's rhetoric stuff. Our stuff is much more play, performance, text and mouth, get up on your feet, game and stuff like that. And I have seen really great tools from Ralph Cohen and from Sarah that are designed specifically for rhetoric. Rhetoric, simply put, I don't know if I'm gonna have time to, hang on just a minute, let me get it up there. So I did a really fast, this is also why I love, hang on, come on, baby, get over here. Come on. I'm going to send this link to you. And we just got done with Julius Caesar, which is full and packed full of rhetoric. Rhetoric, very simply put, is Aristotle's different definition is persuasion, different ways of persuading. But one of the reasons why I love asking the question, you're not seeing this yet, are you?
Not yet.
I'll get it for you. Oh, wow, I've been busy today. There it is. Nope. One of the reasons why I love asking the question, is there anything I can do for you, is because I learned when I do that process. And I found the coolest website. It is not full of rhetoric theater games, which for me, I'm always about theater games, but it is so cool. And let me share it with you. Can you see it right now? Mm-hmm. So I have just started my journey on this thing. So this is created by BYU. It's housed on BYU. I'm going to go to the bottom of it. Look at the awards they've got. So educators are using it all over the place. And it basically works on this principle. Rhetoric is like a forest. Don't lose the forest for the trees. Do not be afraid of rhetoric. And so he says there are the trees or the limbs, and then there are the flowers. Okay. And then he has examples of every single one of these Latin and Greek terms. Do not get lost in these. So you click on allegory, and there's an example of what allegory is. One of my favorite ones is I just was looking here. I would think it would be red, but it's not lined up. Asphalia. After slaying Caesar, Brutus attempts to appease the upset Romans, concluding with this instance of Asphalia, offering oneself as a guarantee. I would rather I die than somebody else. There's hyperbole examples, paradox examples, all from different. Let me go to diacope, and I'll bet you Carmen uses these terms all the time in his classes, right?
No.
His students are shaking their heads. He does.
Yeah. So
well, maybe 25 years ago, but I'm sure that you got to use the language the kids use sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So there's diacope, and as Shakespeare tempest opens a terrible storm and frightens those, all lost to prayers, and he uses that. So it's an amazing website that I'd never found before, and it's just housed up the road at BYU. It's this amazing guy at BYU that makes it all. And then you also have over here examples of logos, pathos, ethos, etc. Is it a wonderful Michael Barr game, that, we're combining improv, to get into that? No, but when it comes to definition, just really, really, really beautiful things. And I'm sure it's probably a life work that this guy has done as he put it all together. And I love his theory of don't get lost in the forest of rhetoric. Don't get lost. He says, after all, you can enjoy the simple beauty of a birch tree without knowing its Betula alba, and make use of the shade of a weeping willow without knowing its Salix babylonica. And so he says you can still respect what these terms are while still going there. So it's a really, really good term. I will send that to you later tonight. I made up a sheet, not a big sheet, but just a sheet with that link on it. I'll send it to you later on tonight so you know where it is. But that answers that wonderful question that he had.